Ahoy everyone, my name is theSirhc and welcome back to another episode, where's the path? There it is, of the Decidedly Vanilla server. It's been quite a bit of time since we last did an episode on this world, so I thought we would take a quick little round through spawn. I still don't know if we have a name for our spawn island here on the Decidedly Vanilla server. I really don't. I don't think we've actually called it anything, but it is looking very nice, and there is a giant city appearing outside of spawn. That is Pigglesworth. He is on the server right now. He's one of the few people who still plays a whole bunch, doing a massive build over there. It looks amazing. Make sure to go check out his channel to see what he's been working on. But yeah, we've had a few buildings constructed here at spawn. It's looking a little bit more filled in. Oh, it looks like we have some escaped cows. You know what happens to escaped cows? They get eaten. Yummy. Although a lot of this does look pretty similar. To be honest, the whole server has not been super active while I have been away. It's just, that's what happens with servers. You know, they're active for a few months, several months, and then people start, you know, going off doing other things or getting just disinterested in Minecraft in general. People like myself. But there are a few people who are still hanging around. One of them, like I said, is Pigglesworth, who's doing crazy stuff over there. Another one is Mr. BJW. And his place, he's our neighbor over here. His place is looking fantastic. He's got a lot of stuff going on. He's really built up his main area over here. Plus, he just started these little shops or houses over here. I think one of these is a restaurant, or maybe this whole thing is a restaurant. He's got like a cow farm underneath. So that's pretty neat. Oh, that looks beautiful. But today we, you know, we're not here just to look at other people's builds. We are here to check back in on ours, the Sand Castle. Now, if you caught my latest Colonies episode, I did mention we've been playing on this place. It might look a little bit different. I've been streaming the past few weeks, mainly playing on here and working on this thing. Doing a lot of stuff to try and finish this thing up. I don't know how much we'll be playing here on this world, but I do want to try and finish this baby up before like 1.14 comes out. Try and get this thing looking a lot nicer. And I've already done a lot of work to make that happen. I've gone through and just did a bunch of stuff with the roofs. We've also got lighting through all of this, so all of that looks nice. Now we've got a little enchanting area. All the ceilings are done. That was kind of the biggest thing, is like a lot of this inside was not finished when we left off. I still have a few areas to take care of. This is going to be my brewing area. Let's see what else we got going on here. My storage room in here. We got a nice floor in here and the ceiling all figured out. Lighting's around everywhere. I've done a bunch of kind of block variation around the outside through here to really texture this up. And we've also got some boats through here. And let's see, we've got this outside wall done. And we have a little farm here, which this still needs some work. I gotta kind of play around with this a bit more. Play around with the roads, try and figure out how to fill in some of these empty areas. And then I need to continue these roads on a little bit at least. I want to extend them past my house. Out of my house or out of my base a little bit farther. My favorite addition though to this place is this wonderful sail ship we have back here docked on our dock thing. This I built 100% in survival, didn't do any planning in creative. We did this on one of our streams and it took a little while, but we got it figured out and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Partly because we did it all on stream and it was just completely fresh, didn't do any planning, which is the first time I've ever done that with a ship. It was definitely a fun little exercise. And that's what we're actually going to do today. We're going to make another ship here, somewhere right out here in the water. I've had people in the past ask me to do ship tutorials or a ship tutorial So this is kind of this is kind of that. This is probably the closest you may get. Maybe I'll do a tutorial in the future, but for now, this is going to be kind of just how I go about building a ship. So first off, we have our position figured out. This is our center line is going to be right through here. That's going to be the center of our, I don't know, a spine. Is that what you'd call it on a ship? So this is going to be our bottom. I figured I'd go about as deep as the other ship was. When I first built that ship, I built it like one block too low. So I wanted to just copy that. It's going to be a similar size to that boat, although we're going to go slightly different style. This one's going to be, I guess, more of a rowing boat. And it's going to be slightly more symmetrical from the bow to the stern. I think the bow is going to be that side. We're going to have it facing towards land over there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this like main, like I said, I think you'd call it a spine, the main spine of the boat, figured out how I want this to be. So I think the very bottom, we don't want it to be quite that long. We're going to bring this out. Again, that conduit, and I'm sure I have, yeah, I do have aqua affinity, so I'm sure that's helping as well. Makes this process so much easier. I couldn't imagine building a boat underwater without that anymore. So we'll have maybe something like that, go a little gradual, and then we're going to want to really start bringing it up. And let's see, we'll bring this up here. And how far above the water? I guess we can go 2 blocks above the water up here. Is this going to be too big of a curve there? I think so. I think we're going to want this thing to be a little bit longer. So we'll bring it out like this. And then, do we want this front end to maybe come out? Let's see. Now, see, that looks a little too long. I'm just kind of placing blocks and then going back and seeing what it looks like, stepping back. This is why I usually plan in creative, because it's a lot easier to place these blocks and go back. Yeah, see, I don't like that because it's too straight going through here. When I do a boat, I really want to make sure that the curve is nice, and I don't know, you don't want a straight line, I would say. You want to make sure that there's a nice belly to the boat. And we're just trying to find that curve. That's kind of the biggest thing about building a boat, is trying to find the right curve for you and what you're doing. There we go. I think that's going to be our general shape for our boat. So we are going to have a little asymmetry from the front and back. The stern here is going to be slightly more rounded. The bow is slightly more pointed. So now that we've got kind of that side view figured out, the next thing I want to do is get the kind of the top down view figured out. We want to get the sides of this boat figured out. So we're going to start up here, and we're going to start working our way back to there. Let's see, I don't want this front to be super pointed. I think our sides of the boat are going to be right about here. So we'll have a 5-block space on the inside. So we'll bring this straight back, and then we'll have to bring this out. I think we'll come out 1 from there, and then maybe bring that out 2 at least. Let's take out some of these blocks and see what we have going on here. I do believe I want that like that. Maybe we'll bring this out. Have a 3-block there. Let's see. I'm just going to kind of turn some of these logs so I know what is actually part of the boat. So it's not going to be super round here. I still want this to be kind of pointed. Maybe even slightly more pointed. Like that. How big is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's the same as we have on the bottom there, which I don't know if that's really a good thing. In fact, I think we're almost copying the same curve as on the bottom. It's pretty close. I'm pretty happy with that, but I do want these sides to be 1 block lower here. So this middle part is gonna dip down, and we need to figure out where we're gonna do that. I think maybe right in here is where that will transition up. And we can use like slabs and trapdoors, stairs, whatever, afterwards to kind of smooth those transitions a little bit more, rather than just having a 1 block jump. So I think here we'll do it around the same spot, maybe even right there when it goes up to, or when it comes in a block. I think that is going to do us pretty well. The next thing I want to do is start adding ribs to the ship, which will kind of determine the shape of our hull here. So we're going to start adding just some logs coming off of the bottom and meeting up with the sides. I think we want a pretty round shape in here. So we're going to do something pretty simple like this. And then, honestly, with such a short boat, I don't know if we need more ribs than that. I think if we start adding them up in here, it's going to get a little tight. Maybe if we move this one back. We got 2 blocks in between that one. Those two. We got 3 blocks here. Maybe that'll work. I do kind of like that. We could maybe add one back here. Now before I go in and fill in the rest of the hull, I'm going to start smoothing out this frame that we have here so that it looks a little less blocky. So we're going to do that with we're using oak wood, so I'm going to use some spruce stairs, which has a very similar color to the oak wood. And I'm just going to go through all of these, I think, and put stairs. Some places you could put slabs, like if I wanted this to be a slightly more gentle curve, I could put a slab there. We also, now that we have these bark blocks, oh no, I want that, give it back. You can hide some of these log ends with those so you don't have that end texture sticking there. I'm going to take that back though because those are more expensive than regular logs, so I don't use them generally. And I think we're going to want stairs through most of this to make it look a little bit more rounded there. So we got all of this. One more up here. Whoops. Right. Oh, we got a plant in the way. I will use those bark blocks up here, though, on the ends of these to get rid of those textures. Since we don't have sideways stairs and we can't round this over anymore. We'll just get rid of all of these end logs. Then we're going to smooth out this top part a little bit with some slabs. So we'll place a few down in here. We could also put a stair here to bring that up a little bit more. I'm not sure if I like that though. I think we're just going to stick with the slab. And maybe we'll stick some slabs on the back here too. Raise that up. And we can raise up this front a bit and do a little protrusion off the front of this place. Maybe do something like that. And then we could also use some trapdoors. Oh, no, we can't use them there. Never mind. Sometimes you can use trapdoors to add slightly more depth. Like right here, I could use a trapdoor to really transition this down, even back here, if we really want to do that and look all fancy. Let's just try copying this over, and maybe we'll bring this out one more, and then we'll just copy what we have on the other side. Trapdoor there, and then here, some slabs. We'll put a trapdoor there and there. So we have a really nice smooth transition, nice slopes going all the way through here. And now it's time to fill in the rest of the hull. So we're going to use some oak planks. I like to have some contrast between the skeleton and the rest of the ship. So we're going to go with this, slightly lighter. And we're going to just make a nice round shape. I like the skeleton of the ship to stick out slightly beyond the rest of the hull. I think it just adds a little bit of depth to the build. So that should work there. And then this back, we want it to be kind of round. Let's see. So we'll bring this down. We'll put some planks up along here. And then this, I think we'll put a stair there. Maybe a slab here. And a plank right here. So I'm filling in the space. I'm trying to, I don't want this part to stick out past here. We could put a stair there and really round that out. That might actually look slightly better. Or we can have this kind of stick in a little bit more. Maybe in the back here we do want to put a stair there. Again, here using a stair and a slab to let that skeleton stick out a little bit more. I think here we'll do a slab and a slab. We can kind of transition what we have over here to here, and then we got to bring this in slightly. So here it's going to come down, and I wonder if we do a stair there, if that's going to look all right. That's going to cover this up. We could do a stair just facing this way too, and then on the inside cover that up like that, which that might work slightly better. I think I like that. So then over here, again, we'll probably stick a full block there. Here we could either do a full block or a stair. How is that going to match up with the rest of this? I think we'll do a full block there, a slab there, maybe a slab here, or we could do a stair there. I think here we're going to have to bring this down a little bit farther. Otherwise, it's too big of a transition from what we have going on here to what we have here. So I think here we're going to have another full block. We'll have a stair there, a stair here, and then a slab there to just cover up that hole. We might even change this to a slab to kind of round that out a little bit more. So then we're up to here. I think again we'll do a full block there, maybe a full block there. Here we'll do, I think, a stair facing that way. Here we'll do a stair coming down, I think a stair there, slab, and then we'll do another slab on the inside just to cover up that hole. And I think that's basically it. Yeah, that's going to be our hole. I like it. It's got a good shape to it. There's plenty of ways you can do it. The main thing is just play around with it and try and get a nice round shape to the whole thing. So now I just need to copy it over to the other side. I think that's the best part about building boats, is that they're usually symmetrical from left to right side. So once you figure out one side, you just need to transfer it over to the other. I'm just clearing out all of the water from the inside of our ship by placing some blocks and then getting rid of them. I like to use a different block from what I've already used in the boat so that I know, what's my filler and I don't accidentally break a hole in the side. For the deck of the ship, I think we're going to go lighter here. So I'm going to start placing some blocks around the outside. I like the deck to be half block below the side here. On the back, we'll do a full block. So we'll bring that up right around there. We might just bring this up straight across, right across there. It's not super interesting. We could maybe bring this back and maybe even bring this up on the sides. Oops, I just put that back where it was, didn't I? Could bring that down, add a little bit more interest to the deck there so it's not a flat line all the way across. I'll bring this across here. Again, I like to kind of start with the sides. I think up here we actually want that to be slightly higher. Maybe we'll bring it down right away to this level, and then here we'll bring this down, and maybe we'll bring it down to here. So again, I think we'll Instead of having a flat line across, we'll just make it slightly more interesting by having there be a slight indent there. And then, so this goes like that. And maybe we'll bring this all right through here. We could even make this a bit more interesting with some stairs, right? I think we can use stairs here, yeah. And there is our deck. I also added a little hatch so we can get down inside of the boat. So that works out pretty nice. The next thing to work on is this sail, starting with the mast. I think our mast is gonna go right here. Slightly in the center, but I think more towards the back is what we want to go with. And we're gonna make the mast out of stripped spruce wood, I think. I kind of like using the stripped wood for the mast. We should probably get on top of this thing though. So we're gonna do, I think just a more of a standard sail, kind of a square front-facing sail rather than our diagonal triangle sail over there. Even though that one actually is probably more useful, these sails technically you could only use if you know, the wind is blowing in the right direction. Although originally I was gonna make this more of a rowing boat than a sailing boat. Like the sail will be there if the wind's in the right direction, but for the most part they'll just be rowing this little boat. So this seems pretty high. Looks like we're about the same height as over there. Let's hop down and just see. I think that will do us. And I'm just gonna add some ladders all the way to the top here because we're gonna be going up and down quite a bit. So now we're gonna want to go down from the top a couple of blocks and build out our log that the sail is hanging from. I don't know what the name of that is. And we're gonna want to go maybe one block outside of the ship, something like that. Let's strip all these and we'll just again check the height before we move forward. And whoops, I think that will work. I think that's gonna work just fine. I actually think we might want to go one block out from that, although that could stay there and we could just make the sail slightly wider than that. We are going to have the sail unfurled so that this thing is actually moving since it isn't quite docked yet. After much trial and error, I think I've got a center line figured out for our sail. So that's kind of the curve, the general curve that we want to go with, and I figured out the heights for a top log attaching point and a bottom attaching point. So now it's just a matter of widening the sail. You know, that's super easy, right? We don't want to just have this be super flat, and we don't necessarily even want this to be symmetrical. Although I might just start out making this super flat and then we can adjust it from there. I think that might be slightly easier. I think we want to start by bringing this corner in a little bit, kind of rounding that over, and then it can go out. Maybe we'll bring this out one block because our top part is going to be one block over, and I think we want the sail to go even one block farther than that. So we'll bring this out and then this up. Again, just kind of rounding that corner over. And then I think we'll bring this out right on this block. Bring this up all the way to the top here. So we'll have that attached there. And then we'll bring this block back like that. And that'll go in there. Maybe we'll even bring this back one. And this back. We might even want more of this back, so we'll do that. Maybe here as well. So now we got some nice roundness to this. Let's see, this is like 4 blocks tall. I was thinking about taking this block back as well, but I don't think we want to. Maybe even here. Bring this one back to there. Alright. So we got a little bit of a curve going on. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I think I like that a little bit. We might want to bring that center down 1 block there. Oh no, the server's restarting in 10 minutes. We got to finish this episode up quick. So I think I got the sail pretty much where I want it. I might tweak the shape a little bit here and there. We can always come back and play around with it. But for now, I'm happy with it. One thing I want to do though is add some variation. One great way to do this is mixing up with the really, you know, solid concrete, mixing that up with wool, which will give it a nice texture. I don't have any wool at the moment, and I don't know if anyone's got a wool farm on the server. So we're going to come through and just mix in some of this light gray concrete to at least add a slight variation and try not to fall off our deck too much here. The final thing we need to do to this ship right now is add our flag. So we're going to put a little flagpole up on top, and we've already kind of established a wind direction, so we should probably stay consistent to that. So I think we're going to, we don't need to do the exact same shape, but we want it to be going in the same direction. And I think we're going to do the same kind of flag that I usually do, the nice cyan and light gray concrete here. So we'll do something like that, going in the same direction. Should look pretty nice, and I think that is it for our ship. Obviously there's some decorating we could do. We could fill up the hole in here and make this thing look a little bit more used, I suppose. But for the most part, ooh, oh man, we're so fast. That was unexpected and weird. Okay, but for the most part, I'm really happy with how this turned out. Let's take a little hop back to see what it looks like from up here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that works. It kind of turned out very similar to that boat and other boats that I've done in the past. I was gonna do it, I guess, more like sort of a Viking longship, maybe not with the quite as pointy ends, but something a little bit more tube-ish, I guess, rather than whatever you would call this. What are these? Aren't they called like Corsairs or something like that? Maybe this is a similar shape to that. I don't know much about boats. I really should do a lot of research on them because I do enjoy building them here in Minecraft. But that's going to do it for today. I hope you have enjoyed this slight little build sort of tutorial thing, kind of just taking you along on my thought process when I build these things. If you have any name suggestions for these boats, I haven't named either of them yet. You can leave those down in the comments below. But yeah, that's going to do it for today. I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Goodbye, folks.